Rory, let me give you a history and a learning lesson of how you have conducted yourself and denying these racial remarks that you have said about Rihanna, Beyonce, and several other and black women, period. Let me teach you something, homeboy. Racism is a complex concept with several interrelated meanings, which can be broadly defined as the belief that human races possesses different traits and capacities, which in turn leads to the superiority of one race over others and the resulting prejudice, discrimination, or systemic oppression based on race or ethnicity. Key meaning and forms. Racism operates on multiple levels, including individual, interpersonal, institutional, and structural or systemic. Individual/interpersonal racism, this form refers to the person beliefs, prejudice, and behaviors of individuals who hold negative attitudes or act in a discriminatory manner toward people of different racial or ethnic groups. This can range from explicit hatred and verbal abuse to more subtle unconscious bias and microaggressions. Institutional systemic racism. This refers to the structures, policies, institutional practice, and social norms that create an unfair advantage for dominant groups and unfair or harmful treatment for marginalized racial and ethnic groups. This form of racism is embedded within the fabric of society and its institutions, in the justice system, healthcare, education, and housing, and does not require caution intent by individuals to perpetuate racial inequity, which is what we still going through today. You know what I'm saying? I'm Latin black, you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely gonna represent for both of my cultures. But there's one for Rory. I don't think Rory is racist in that form, but I believe he is racist because he wants to be black. He's entrapped it within his color, so when he's around us black people, he shows nothing but embrace and love. But when he's behind closed doors, you see the hatred and the embracement and the disrespect that he shows towards black women. Or on top of that, he probably went out with a black beautiful queen and she did something to him, so that included more of a biased racism act towards black sisters, you know what I'm saying? But let's keep going. Ideological racism. This is the underlying set of theories and beliefs, historically rooted in false scientific notions of biological difference that establishes a hierarchy of races to rationalize oppression such as slavery, colonialism, or apartheid, if I'm not mistaken. Common elements across definitions of racism include beliefs in a racial theology, the idea that some racial or ethnic groups are inherently superior or inferior to others. Power dynamics. Racism is often linked to power, where dominant group enforces its advantage and denies opportunities and privileges to minor groups. So you see, this is just a little history that I'm giving you. You understand what I'm saying? Us blacks and Latins, we had to fight, especially when it came to police brutality, when it came to being discriminated and, you know what I'm saying, just being taken out of opportunities and being beaten and put in jail for nothing that we did wrong, and police brutality, and the list goes on and on and on. And privileges to minor groups. Discriminatory actions, and outcomes. The actions, practices, or systems that result in unequal outcomes for different racial groups, such as disparities in health outcomes, economic conditions, or access to resources. For additional educational resources on racism and its history, visit the National Museum of African American History and Culture, or review resources from the Learn Something, Rory. Learn something. I'm doing this on purpose, but I'm also doing it because I know deep in your heart you are wrong for all the comments that you have said, but you said it so much during the years that you seem not to have a problem with it. And then when you're being called out for it, now it's a problem. Now it's ridiculous. Now, oh, this is absurd. Oh, y'all taking this out of context. Oh, this is too much. Oh, y'all people are being so offensive. Nah. It's just what it is. Like Tupac says, I'm not racist, but change places and see the outcome and the input of everything that I'm showing you right now. You will be saying and you'll be talking very differently on that outcome. Now let me teach you something about hip-hop and why hip-hop was formed besides, them expressing themselves, which is us. Let me teach you something else. Hip-hop was formed as a broad cultural movement for self-expression and community building by African Americans and Latino youth in the South Bronx during the 1970s as a direct response to a range of challenging social economic conditions, which included systemic racism. While the origin of hip-hop wasn't solely to express the meaning of racism, the culture was fundamentally shaped by the experience of living in marginalized communities, dealing with poverty, urban decay, political disenfranchisement, gang violence, and a lack of economic opportunities and social services. Key elements of hip-hop and the connection to social issues. A voice for the voiceless. Hip-hop provided a creative and powerful platform for young people to express their experience, frustration, and aspiration in a society where they felt ignored by mainstream media and political institutions. Social and political commentary. From its early days, artists used lyrics to shed light on social injustice such as police brutality, mass incarceration, and social inequity. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 1982 song, The Message, is a prominent early example of this social commentary. Let's keep going. Community empowerment. Pioneers like Africa Bambaataa actively guided youth away from gang violence by forming the Universal Zulu Nation, an organization that promoted peace and unity through the elements of hip-hop culture. This helped channel the competitive energy of gangs into artistic expression like breakdancing and rap battles. Cultural response. The entire culture, including DJing, MCing, breakdancing, and graffiti art, was a resourceful and resilient form of expression that emerged from the urban environment, using whatever materials were available to create new art forms. Therefore, while the expression of racism is a significant and enduring theme within hip-hop, it is part of a broader original purpose of providing a complete culture and artistic outlet for marginalized community to navigate and critique their world. So, you see, Rory, you don't know what our ancestors and our peoples had to go through to be able to be heard, to be able to have something that we can call our own, that we can manifest, that we can, be successful and achieve. Because when we have the chances and the opportunities like we do today, And there's still a lot of racism towards this day. But you know what? The government back then put all of our peoples and ancestors on a hold. Remember, everything that is learned, everything that is taught, everything comes from where? From Africa. You understand what I'm saying? But you have this narrative that you are the master and we are the puppets and we have to bow down to you because you're so-called the handler. No, sir, you're fully mistaken and you're fully full of shit. Now let me teach you something, how record labels did not want it to do with hip-hop when hip-hop first started. Let me take you to school, homeboy. When hip-hop started, no record label wanted nothing to do with hip-hop. It is largely true that major record labels were initially very hesitant to embrace hip-hop. They perceived the genre as a temporary fade or noise made by kids with no musical training and were unsure it had staying power or broad commercial appeal. Reason for initial label resistance. Perception as a fade. Many industries insiders dismiss hip-hop as a short-lived trend similar to disco and not a serious musical genre worth long-term. And look where hip-hop has taken it today. Look how powerful hip-hop is today, Mr. Rory. So you decided to jump from one side to the other, not knowing the history, not knowing the genre, not knowing the history of everything that our ancestors and our brothers and sisters and those that went through it had to go through. And also, serious musical genre worth long-term investment, as I read that line again. Lack of mainstream data. The music industry initially didn't track the sales or radio play or early rap records because they didn't believe they would sell enough to warrant attention. This created a cycle where a lack of data reinforced the perception of no demand. So basically, they were even trying to stop what our brothers and sisters were doing when they first started hip-hop in the early 80s. So you see, even they had to go through trials and tribulations with the government and record just so our creative of hip-hop were to be heard and be heard not only here, but globally. But I'm not done yet. Logistical challenges. Early hip-hop was primarily a live performance-based culture centered around DJs and MCs freestyling over funk and soul records. Capturing this energy in a commercial, viable, recordable format. Using live studio musicians to create beats as was done for Rappers Delight was a new and challenging process. So you see, once they started noticing that hip-hop was elevating and climbing to higher charts, that's when record labels started taking attraction and paying attention and seeing if they could go ahead and start putting these artists and amazing rappers and MCs in their record labels because they saw that it would benefit them. That's what you call culture vultures like a motherfucker. Oh, Rory, I ain't done with you yet. I ain't done with you yet, Rory. You're gonna have to find out the hard way. I'm gonna just put it to you that way. Sampling issues. When sampling became widespread in the 1980s, the legal ramifications of using other artists' music without permission made major labels cautious due to potential lawsuits. Focus on profit. Major labels are businesses focused on profit and were wary of investing in an unproven market with unfamiliar sounds. The role of independent labels. The initial growth of hip-hop was largely driven by independent labels. Salvia Robinson independent label Sugar Hill Records released Rappers Delight in 1979, which became the first hip-hop song to break into the Billboard's Top 40, demonstrating the market for rap music existed. Other independent labels like Def Jam Records, founded by Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin, were instrumental in bringing the culture to a wider audience and launching the careers of artists like LL Cool J and Public Enemy. It was only after the success of these early independent releases that the major record companies realized hip-hop was a gold mine and began to actively pursue and commercialize the genre. Like I said, they decided they could just jump in and be culture vultures and put them into their record labels because it would benefit them, and if they would put them in their record labels, they will expand all over the world and start making more money because of the advantage that they were willing to take of these amazing rappers and artists that just started being commercialized to go commercial and go globally. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Rory? Do you understand what my peoples had to go through to get to the point that what they at today? You fucker. Rory Farrell, co-host of the new Rory and Ma podcast, recently faced significant backlash after a series of his old anti-black tweets and retweets resurfaced online. The resurfaced parts, some dating back over a decade, include offensive comments primarily directed at black women. Examples include, "I've never saw a good-looking black woman." Bullshit. Every black woman has either wanted to, thought about, or actually fucked a white guy. What? Bruh, let me keep going. A tweet where he referred to Beyonce as a hood rat while insulting her and Jay-Z's daughter Blue Ivy's name. You know what? When you disrespect somebody's daughter, I don't like Jay-Z. But when you disrespect somebody's daughter, if he comes at you in any type of shape, way, or form, you know what, bro? That's tough fucking luck. That's what you deserve, and that's what you get. You don't put nobody's kids into anything or any opinion or any thought that you got. You understand? Unless if you try to prove a righteous point, but not to disrespect a daughter that has nothing to do with your opinion, your thoughts, how you think, or how you feel about the mother or about the father. Here we go. A retweet of a post that read, "Black girls look like roaches." Black girl look like roaches. How racist is that? How racist is that for real? Wow. You probably in your life dated a Ebony Queen or Ebony Sister, and she disrespected you. She mudded you out, and that's what probably even made you hate more black women than what you already do. Hold on, where I'm at. Amid the backlash, Farrell participated in a Twitter Spaces session to address the situation. His initial response, which many listeners found to be sarcastic, dismissive, and condescending, added fuel to the fire and further angered social media users. Farrell later offered a more sincere apology on his podcast, acknowledging he was a fucking dickhead in his initial X Spaces responses and that he would have been more sensitive to people who don't know him personally. He took ownership of having used the words in the past, clarifying that some posts were retweets from when Twitter was different and that he regrets being dismissive of those seeking a genuine answer. Man, tweet or retweet, that don't mean shit. He wrote what he wrote, he know what he wrote, he know what he said, and only because he got caught up and it was resurfaced again, he wanted to give the apology to make himself look righteous when in fact he ain't no victim. He know what the fuck he did wrong. Stop the nonsense, bro. The incident sparked a broad conversation online about race, witnesses in hip-hop culture, and the impact of past social media posts on public figures. Come on, man. Just worry. You don't know what our people had to endure You don't know the pain, the suffering, the discrimination, the racism, the past, the present, even today, us having to deal with that shit, with police harassment, police brutality, being arrested for shit we don't do. You see what happened to Tupac? You saw what happened to Malcolm X? You saw what happened to Dr. King? You saw what happened to Rosa Parks? Huh? The fuck out of here, man. See, it's people like you that make real white brothers and sisters look bad. Because back in the days when racism was strong, I mean, it was questionably, not doubtably, in everybody's face to see, and how they were living that epic battle of racism back at that time. There was a lot of white brothers and sisters that walked with our black brothers and sisters, and they were done harder, and they were done more humiliatedly and brutally and torturally more than the black sisters themselves. Why? Because they lined up and they were with us through our battle, through our hardship of dealing with racism and capitalism and, you know what I'm saying, just discrimination and every negative battle that you could think that brothers and sisters were not going through back in them hard times when racism was strong as ever. A lot of white brothers and sisters pay for it. Just like in the Black Panther Party, there was Russians, Puerto Ricans, there was Japanese, there was all type of Black Panther parties or liberated black army within that culture that were white and different cultures that were within the party, and they all pay the price too. Know your culture before you step into another culture and disrespect what our peoples had to go through. You selfish son of a bitch. And you know what? I'm glad everybody's roasting you because you don't know. And I'm going to teach you this since you don't know. Do you know there was at one point in time that the masters, the so-called leaders, the people that will keep slaves, you know, in a institutionalized, congregated in fields and in sub camps, they killed so many of them that they forced black grandfathers, uncles, fathers, cousins, brothers to rape their own sisters, their own mothers, and their own family members to restart the black culture because they were killing so many of them. And these concentrated camps is what I meant to say. They were forcing them to rape their own ancestors, brothers, mothers, grandmothers, aunties, godmothers. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what our peoples went through, you son of a bitch. And you're gonna sit here and give a fake ass apology and then be with your little sissy boy, the Drake lover, Mr. Ma, and he's defending you when he knows that he has family and ancestors that went through this. So for him to defend you, he should be more ashamed of you. But you know what? Thanks God we had brothers. Malcolm X is my favorite activist of all time. But you had him, you had Dr. King, you had Rosa Parks, you had Angela, and you had so many others. You know what I'm saying? You had, you know, our ancestors that fought for our human rights. They fought government leaders. They fought government officials. They fought, you know, racism groups. They fought COINTELPRO, the FBI, the police. They fought everybody to stay 10 toes down, but more importantly, for their civil rights, because we all have rights. Just like Tupac says, it's not about being black or white. It's about respecting morals, integrity, and showing a different skin color the same kind of respect and integrity and loyalty that you show your own culture, your own skin color, your own fucking race. But you don't know nothing about that. You just wanted to jump on here and act like you could get away with whatever you said. Well, guess what? We resurfaced it, and we are going to roast you until we feel that you really are being sincere of what you really says, which I don't think you're sincere. I just think you did that because you see that you're losing viewers, you're losing money, you're losing profit, you're losing benefit. You selfish son of a bitch. Making fun of our culture. And then on top of that, I don't know if you rap, I don't know if you sing, but I hear people saying that your album was tight. But you want to disrespect from the bag wagon that you jumped off of to come in this side and disrespect when you don't know shit about our culture? That's why I always say, before you even resume to even talk about anybody else, do your research. But don't talk about black people like that. Don't talk about black people when you don't know the struggles and the troubles that we've been through, and our ancestors especially, bruh. And it really sounds to me that your hatred is because you want to be accepted so bad. But just because you wasn't accepted the way you wanted to, and because maybe you dated a sister that did you dirty, you probably have this hate for black women as much as you do. I don't really feel that you racist all the way, but deep inside, I feel that the hatred that you have for black women and the hatred that you're not one yourself, that you're not fully accepted all the way in the culture, is what makes you hate them, which is us, which makes you want to talk any type of shape, way, or form and disrespect a culture that was here way before your culture, way before your ancestors, okay? So don't forget, Rory. We're watching you. We're scoping you. We're lurking on you. And you see, it ain't about black or white. It's about what? Humanization. Why? Because we're all humans. Don't get me wrong, Rory. You got racist people all over the world. You got white racism, you got black racism, you got Latin racism, you got Chinese racism, you got Japanese racism, you got Africa racism, you got all types of racism. But those are the people you shouldn't be around with if you so-call yourself being the type of man that you so-called being, which in reality you just showing us that you're a racist son of a bitch. It is what it is, bruh. And as you can see, if you don't really change, and if you don't really come to terms that being this way is not going to help you at all, it's just going to drown you and it's going to destroy everything. And no black brother and sister is going to accept you. Even if you fake apologize or try to change the narrative, we can see through that. We ain't stupid. You will forever be a disgusting disgrace, just selfish, racist, conniving, egotistic, narcissist son of a bitch. It just is what it is, man. And you've been showing that for years. It's just now when we just had enough, and it's time to call you out on your BS. And you need to be put on front. You need to be put on the map. You need to be put on the fucking pedestal of racism, because that's what you're showing. That's what your actions are showing. And let me tell you something, Rory. This ain't the end. This is just the beginning for you. Until you really, really give a true apology, and you mean it with the utmost respect from the sincerity of your heart, and you apologize really for what you said from the heart for real, then maybe we'll think about if he really is sincere enough and he apologized from the heart himself. But until then, fuck you. Real talk. But this is the end of the video. Y'all comment down below and we'll go from there. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this situation. Y'all already know it's your boy Chico Black, aka Jaloso, defending my black brothers and my black sisters all the way through. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we're human beings too. It's not for fucking motherfuckers to treat us like that. You know what I'm saying? I understand we got our problems on an everyday basis, but we should be able to sit down and fix our problems. But y'all go ahead and let me know what time it is. Much respect and much love to all my black brothers and sisters, all my white brothers and sisters, and all my Latin brothers and sisters. Real talk, I'm out of here. Peace.